الرحيم. باب الحيلة في النكاح. به قال حدثنا مسدد قال حدثنا يحيى بن سعيد عن عبيد الله قال حدثني نافع عن عبد الله رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم نهى عن الشغار. قلت لنافع: ما الشغار؟ قال: ينكح ابنة الرجل وينكحه ابنته بغير صداق، وينكح وينكح أخت الرجل وينكحه أخته بغير صداق. وقال بعض الناس: إن احتال حتى تزوج على الشغار فهو جائز والشرط باطل. وقال في المتعة: النكاح فاسد والشرط باطل. وقال بعضهم: المتعة والشغار جائز والشرط باطل. So this is the hila, the trick that people do in the marriage. So, keep in mind that hila basically is disconnecting the commands of Allah from its right function. When Allah creates something, when Allah commands something, He has a function. This has a function. What people want to do, they want to disconnect it. They make something else from whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands. And the worst actually hila are when people, do hila in the marriage. Because if you do hila in the prayer, it is going to harm you. But when you do hila and tricks in the marriage, it is going to harm you and your wife and the whole society. So it's actually the harm is much worse. So we have to understand really how people keep doing hila in the marriage until our time. The first thing to understand is nikah, marriage, is not something secret. It is not a personal matter between you and a woman. Nikah is a social fact. It is something for the society. So it should be done in a way it looks like social. Nikah must be social, must be part of society matter. In our time, there are again so many hilas are going on, and people do, hila in the marriage. So, for example, one of the hila that is very common in Middle East, and also now it is coming popular in the West, what we call misyar. So, misyar basically meaning is that a woman, she is divorced, or she is a widow, she has got her own house, she does not need expenses from anybody, and man, he has got already wives, one wife or maybe more than that. So now they come in agreement that he'll marry her and will not provide any accommodation, any expenses, only spend night with her in secret. So she will not tell, her family, his family, and he will not tell anybody. So the relation remains between both of them as secret. So this never can be allowed, because actually the hadith of the Prophet said, anything, any secrecy in the marriage is zina. There was zina. It basically like, in our time we want to make halal mortgage. So it basically is like halal boyfriend and halal girlfriend. So we just want to make everything halal. So, like the fuqaha actually have been saying, if somebody is gambling and he wants to make halal by saying Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, so they say he become kafir, because you're like mocking in the law of Allah. But that's what many people do. So in the nikah, there are going so many things which are not right. So marriage must be done in a way that it is a public thing. It's not a private matter. Rights and duties must be understood properly. So the two things in the marriage essential. That's what makes a marriage in Islam. If one of them does not exist, then it is not a marriage in Islam. Two things. First thing is that marriage in Islam has got a function. It has what? A function. Function is to make a family. The first thing. So when you make a family, it should be known. So that you marry someone in order to make family, provide accommodation, expenses, you are going to raise children there, everybody knows. So the function of the marriage is to make family. So when people do misyar, they don't want family. They just want friendship. So how can you marry? So anything, whenever there is no function, I simply call it zina. to meet is zina. Without a function, marriage is just a zina. You can give any name you want, but in reality, it's zina because marriage needs has a function. The only purpose Allah Subhanahu wa Taala allowed relation between men and women is to make family, not for enjoyment. Enjoyment is just a means to achieve that. The first condition of a marriage is that it must have the function. Second condition is it must have a responsibility. Yani the man must provide independent accommodation to his wife and he must provide all the expenses. If he does like that, then it will be marriage. If both things are there, function and responsibility, then it is marriage. If one of them is missing, it cannot be marriage and it will be haram or sometimes it will not even be marriage. So that so always look in that really. Don't look for small details and this technical marriage. Technical marriage, not marriage. Oh, I just, you go with a woman, somewhere in another city where nobody knows you, and you are a friend of an imam, and you find two people walking the street. Please come and witness my marriage. They don't know you. You don't know them. The imam does not want to tell anybody. Now you are married, and you don't tell anybody. No family, no house, no nothing intention. Technically, you think you got married. This is not marriage. Marriage is not something technical. It is actually something proper. As I mentioned, it's a social fact. So any marriage where you see it is secret, then it cannot be Islamic. Secret marriage cannot be Islamic. There's something wrong. Because marriage is not something to be hidden. To hiding means there's something wrong. And nobody should accept a marriage with a secret, even men or women. Never, never. And there is no barakah in it. You will going to regret it. There's no barakah can come in any secret marriage. Marriage must be known. It is social fact known to the whole society. To always keep, you people are women, when you teach young girls, if they are going marry, always teach them these two things. That marriage has two conditions that makes Islamic. First thing is, it must have a function. Means when people marry, the intention is to make a family, provide properly living together, going to have children, intention. Second thing is the man must provide accommodation and expense responsibility. If a marriage does not have function or responsibility, then it is not marriage. Even if technically people call it a marriage, it's not marriage. Is it clear? So that to any marriage where people take out the right of the women's right in the marriage, accommodation, expenses, dowry, mahr, all those things. If in a marriage people deprive the woman any of these things, then there is something wrong. They should be more generous. By something is going, people take, it is not right. One of those marriage used to happen in the Jahiliyyah before Islam is called Shigar. Shigar marriage was that people don't want to give dowry mahr to the woman. And mahr is sometimes people think that mahr looks like you are selling the woman, that you pay money, it's not selling the woman. The truth really is that when money comes, the people become serious. If man knows really that this contract involves money, then no, and people are not going to do easily. They think 100 times before doing this because the money is there. The only reason Allah has put mahr in the nikah to make it serious. I'll give an example. Long time ago, it must be actually before I started all the teaching in public. So I used to teach in Oxford, just any students, they come and teach. So some students asked me to teach them one of the book of Arabic grammar, Sharh Qatil Nadam. There was no money. They don't pay many fees. There was no registration. There was no institution, basically, just between me and them. So when I come to the classroom, no students is there. Sometimes they come and I'm not there. Keep missing. It took like more than 1 year. We only taught little bit. Then East London, one of these mosques, you have been there. They organized the same book, to be taught there by me, and they made a fees that people have to pay this amount of fees, course for 9 months, 10 months. And I'm from Oxford coming to teach, 60, 70 miles. So when I came there, all my students from Oxford are there, some new people. So I said to them, I have been teaching you this book free for nothing. Well, you never came. Now all the way you coming from Oxford to London, time and cost, and then you pay fees. And then and they continued all the course for 9, 10 months until the book was finished. all the Oxford people, other people. So that actually strike my mind. When money comes, people become serious. When there's no money, it is people are not serious. That's why in the marriage, Allah has put mahar. So men become serious. It is not something. It is something big. It is serious matter. So it should be there. What shigar is? Shigar basically is not to pay any dowry to the women. So what happening is a man said to the other man, "I'll marry your daughter. I'm not going to pay any mahar. I don't have maybe, and you marry my daughter." To just exchange. So basically, these two men they benefit, but those two girls, what they get? They don't gonna because both men just make this thing that I'll marry your daughter and you marry my daughter. Let's agree on that. Oh, I marry my sister, your sister. You marry my sister, but the sisters don't get anything. That what keep happening. This really is something not allowed. The Prophet made very clear because Quran has said very clearly that whenever people get married, there's the right of the women in their wealth. They must pay some wealth. Marriage cannot happen without paying something. It's impossible. Quran wants to make it something a serious matter, you know. And that's why all the jurists say mahar is obligatory in the marriage. You can't have marriage without the mahar. And it should be known, properly given, and it is right of the woman. Nobody else can take. The woman will take, it is her right that will be given. People used to do this contract where they just married their daughter to somebody else and he married him to their own daughter. No, nothing about. When Islam came, the Prophet forbid this. So what happening is now jurists say, like Hanafi, some other, because most criticism of Imam Bukhari against Hanafi people, they come there. They say if what happens, somebody does shagar marriage. He said, I'm marrying my daughter to you, and you marry your daughter to me. No mahr. Will this be valid or not? So some jurists, including Hanafi, they say marriage will be valid, but they have to pay the mahr. They have to pay. They have to pay the mahr. So now what happening? The man, he wants to marry somebody's daughter. He love her. That person is poor. He cannot afford the mahr. So in order to make him to marry his daughter to this person said to him, you can't pay any mahr. To marry to me your daughter, I'll marry my daughter to you for nothing, free. There's no mahr. He becomes happy. He accepts that. And your intention to play trick, because you know really after marriage, he had to pay mahr. So then you are rich, you marry his daughter, and Islam said, Fuqaha will say, no, you have to pay mahr. And then you say you can marry my daughter. He doesn't know really. Your intention is then say, no, you marry my daughter, but Fuqaha say you have to pay mahr. Now he doesn't have mahr, so he can't marry. So you basically got his daughter for nothing. You just make a promise, you got nothing. That's people play trick. So you want to marry his daughter, and you don't want to marry your daughter to him because he's so poor, he cannot pay anything. So you make this trick shagar. That you marry I marry your daughter, you marry my daughter, there's no mahr. And this thing, okay, it's so nice because I don't have money anyway. When you marry, then after that you make clear that for us you must have paying mahr. Then the card marry you have to marry. So this is the trick that people have. That what Bukhari is now concerned, that you can't make all this trick in the marriage. So it comes inshallah more explanation. So he said.
There is mahar, but still the condition is two sisters marrying. Still shagar?
No, it's not shagar, but it's up to the people to agree or not. Basically, shagar means when women's right is deprived, when women don't get what they want, what their right in Islam is. But it should be their consent. If man marries his daughter to someone and he said, you marry your daughter to me, at the end of the day, both girls should be accepting, because it will come soon in Sahih Bukhari that marriage never can happen without the consent. So it must be the consent of both parties. It is a contract. It is a contract between man and woman. If the woman does not agree, marriage will not happen. So contract, and on the top of that, there must be payment of the mahr. So this is the hadith. It's very famous hadith in Muwatta everywhere. So Bukhari narrated this hadith from his teacher Musaddad. Musaddad's name is Musaddad ibn Musarhad from Basra. Died in the year 228 of Hijrah. He is one of the senior teacher of Bukhari, Musaddad. Musaddad in Arabic language means from the word sadidus, to be firm. Like, when marriage happens, so there are few verses people read. One of them is, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha haqqa ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha wa qulu qawlan sadida. It means when you make a marriage, when you make a promise, you must be firm. Then deliver the promise. Your wife, so then all the life you have to fulfill the promise. She's wife, you have to take care. So Allah said, Qawlan Sadya, firm thing. From that has come the name Musaddad. The Bukhari teacher Musaddad, in Sahih Bukhari actually has said, Musaddadun kasmihi. Musaddad is like his name. What it means? Musaddad is so accurate, so firm in the narration, like his name. What his name means. Name means to be firm. That's how it is. The another, story about his name is Musaddad ibn Musarhad. So people used to make fun. So when Musaddad was a teacher and narrator in Basra, at the same time there was Abu Nu'aym al-Fadl ibn Dukayn in Kufa. Abu al-Fadl ibn Dukayn is little lived longer. Abu Nu'aym al-Fadl ibn Dukayn, he was a little bit man of the light heart, some joke or something like light. He makes somebody lighter people. So whenever somebody comes from Basra to Kufa, mentioned they are coming from Musaddad, they study with him, so he would ask, what is the name of Musaddad? Because, the people make Musaddad ibn Musarhad ibn Musarabbal, and most of them are not right really. Then he will say, it is Ruqya, his name. If somebody is bitten by scorpion, you read this name, you're cured. Because Ruqya like that, nobody knows what the meaning is. So he just make fun. That's not a problem. The problem is in India, somebody wrote a commentary on Abu Dawud. And in that commentary has come the name of Musaddad. I've written an article on that, though some people do not like it. In that commentary, the Musaddad's name has come. And then Indian author take it seriously. He said his name has got such a barakah that if somebody bitten by scorpion and snake, and you read his name, is cured. It was just a joke by Abu Nu'aym. He just made a joke. Everyone knows. Indian people took it seriously. They think his name is itself is Ruqya. His name not Ruqya. They don't believe in Ruqya anyway, those people in the names. They only believe in the Ruqya that's in Quran and Sunnah, not this Ruqya. So anyway, the thing is, Musaddad is one of the most authentic and accurate narrator in Sahih Bukhari. And Bukhari has so many hadith from Musaddad. There are few narrators from whom Bukhari has taken the most hadith. One of them is Musaddad. Is from Basra. He narrates from another teacher of Basra, and he is Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Qattan. To Yahya ibn Sa'id, there are many Yahya ibn Sa'id in the hadith. Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Qattan, Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Ansari, Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Amawi. There are so many. So everybody has to, people become confused. So there's the one is Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Ansari. His name comes in a hadith of Innamal A'malu bin Niyat. Hadith Innamal A'malu bin Niyat in the whole world depends on Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Ansari from Muhammad ibn Ibrahim al-Taymi from Al-Qam. Usually it's not. He's different. He's from Medina. And he's Tabi'i. This man, Yahya ibn Sa'id actually is his student. So that is senior and this is junior. This man is from Basra. That one, Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Ansari, he died in the year 144. This man who will be reading here, Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Qattan, he died in the year 198. So he's a student for him. And he's Basra, and that man is from Kufa. Nothing. But the problem really is some Indian great people and other people, they are always confused between those two people. Name will come Yahya Salih Qattan, and they will think it is Yahya Salih Sari. That name comes. So you people have to be aware of that. When you read these names in the books of the Hadith, you should know who is intended. So here he is, Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Qattan, the junior one, not the senior one. Senior one al-Ansari from Medina, he's a Tabi'. This one is not from Tabi'. But this is one of the top leading expert of the Hadith. In Hadith science, one important thing is to understand the hidden problem. Sometimes hadith looks like sound, but the experts know there's a problem. There are very few people who understand the hidden problems in the hadith. One of them is Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Qattan. He knew the problems which are hidden in the hadith. That knowledge was taken from him by Ali ibn al-Madini. He's also from Basra. Ali al-Madini became the Imam of Ilal. He knows Illad and hidden problem more than anybody else. That knowledge was taken from Ali ibn al-Madini by Imam Bukhari. Imam Bukhari, when you see he has such expertise, he has taken the knowledge from where? From Ali ibn al-Madini, and Ali has taken from Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Qattan, maybe many other people, but Yahya al-Qattan is one of the top people in that. Is actually, people say in the hadith of Sufyan Thawri. Sufyan Thawri is one of the full-time teacher, very accurate from Kufa, hundreds of the students. But there are four people, they are his top students. If hadith comes from them, it is so strong, so accurate. Four people. That also you need to know. All the narrators, they have some students who are very top. They are the one who make the hadith sound. If they come and they narrate from the teacher, then you should be happy. So Sufyan Thawri, the hadith, I narrated in the world from few people, very high, very accurately. One of them is Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Qattan. The people say in hadith of Sufyan Thawri, we depend on the four people. One is Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Qattan. Another person is Waqi ibn al-Jarrah in Kufa. The third one is Abdul Rahman ibn Mahdi, again in Basra. And the fourth one is Abu Nu'aym al-Fadl ibn Dukain in Kufa. The two people from Basra and two people from Kufa. Basran are Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Qattan and Abdul Rahman ibn Mahdi. Kufan are Waqi ibn Jarrah and Abu Nu'aym al-Fadl ibn Dukain. These four people are top people in narrating the hadith of Sufyan Thawri. If their name comes, that is the best. But there are also the people in Bukhari, Muslim, but these are the best people narrating hadith of Sufyan Thawri. So anyway, Yahya ibn Sa'id narrated this hadith from Ubaidullah. This Ubaidullah is Ubaidullah ibn Umar, ibn Hafs, ibn Asim, ibn Abdullah, ibn Umar, ibn Khattab. So basically from the family of Umar Khattab. That's why he's called Ubaidullah ibn Umar al-Umari. So when you read in the books of Hadith, al-Umari, books of history, al-Umari means from the family of Umar ibn Khattab. Is it clear? Like when you say al-Bakri, like Ibn Jawzi is called al-Bakri, it means he is from the family of Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Indian people or Pakistani people, subcontinent people, they do differently. If somebody from the family of Umar, they call him al-Faruqi, because he's Umar ibn Khattab al-Faruq. When somebody from the family of Abu Bakr Siddiq, Indian people will call Siddiqi. That they do. But Arabic language, it is different. If somebody from the family of Umar Khattab, he's al-Umari. And from the family of Abu Bakr Siddiq, he will be al-Bakri. So this man, Ubaidullah, is al-Umari. Ubaidullah has a brother, his name is Abdullah. They both are brother. Ubaidullah ibn Umar ibn Hafs ibn Asim ibn Abdullah ibn Umar. Similarly, Abdullah ibn Umar ibn both. This Ubaidullah is a man of accuracy. He's very accurate narrating the hadith. His brother Abdullah is a weak narrator. There's no single hadith in Sahih Bukhari from his brother Abdullah. No single hadith, because he's a weak narrator. Abdullah has got, I think, only one time in Sahih Muslim as a mutaba'a and accompanying his name with somebody else. The Muslim also does not depend upon him. Abdullah, the hadith is weak hadith. So whenever Abdullah al-Umari comes, it is weak. When Ubaidullah comes, hadith is strong. Problem is when you write Abdullah or Ubaidullah, it is not very, sometimes you can be confused. Sometimes Ubaidullah becomes Abdullah, Abdullah becomes Ubaidullah. Be careful. If hadith is not Bukhari Muslim, and then you find Tabarani or this book, and this Ubaidullah Umari, be careful. It could be Abdullah. Some writers, some people who copied the book, they change Ubaidullah to Abdullah. So don't rush. So Ubaidullah Umari, hadith is sahih and sound, Sharta Bukhari Muslim, don't. It could be mistake of writing. Is it clear? When a hadith is from Ubaidullah, is not in Bukhari Muslim, there is a problem. Because if it hadith is sahih, it should be in these books. They know more than anybody else. If Bukhari does not include, there must be mistake. Could be is Abdullah by mistake became Ubaidullah. So keep in mind Ubaidullah al-Umari. People say when Nafid, like I said to you, Sufyan Thawri, the hadith, four people at top. When Nafi comes, Nafi is the Mawla of Abdullah ibn Umar, slave of Abdullah ibn Umar. He freed him. Nafi is the Imam of his time. His hadiths are so accurate, in the fiqh is so accurate. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz relied on him and sent him as an ambassador teacher to African countries. He was a really great man, Nafi. And Malik learned from him so much. People say in hadith of Nafi, the three people who are the top. Malik, Ubaidullah, and Ayyub al-Sakhtiyani. Malik and Ubaidullah are from Medina, and Ayyub al-Sakhtiyani is from Basra. The three people. Some people actually, many people say in hadith of Nafi, Ubaidullah is much more reliable than even Malik. Some people put Ubaidullah even above Malik. He is so accurate. Some people make Ayyub Sakhtiyani better because Ayyub is like senior to both of them. Imam Malik rahimahullah ta'ala only narrated hadith from people of Medina. He was very strict. He did not like people of Iraq. Because he was thinking Iraqi people, they are not accurate. So people said to him, you don't like Iraqi people, but in your Muwatta, there are nearly 4 hadiths, something like that, from Ayyub al-Sakhtiyani. How you accept him? He's from Basra, he's not from Medina. How you accept him? Malik said, when ma rawaytu lakum an ahadin illa wa ayyubu awthaqu minhu. When I narrate hadith to you from anybody, Ayyub will be more reliable than that person. Ayyub is the best teacher. That's what Malik said, though he's not from Medina. Same thing, Ibn Uyayna, Ibn Sanas, I met more than 30 tabi'in. I never have seen anybody better than Ayyub. Listen, all the people at that time, they praised Ayyub so heavily, strongly. Malik said, when Ayyub came to Medina, whenever name of the Prophet is mentioned, tears will come from eye of Ayyub. That's how Ayyub was. And Ayyub is a very accurate person. So in the hadith of Nafi, 3 top people. Malik, Ubaidullah, and Ayyub al-Sakhtiyani. And that you can see very clearly when you see hadith of Nafi in Sahih Muslim. Muslim brings all 3 at the same time. Generally, it will be Malik first, then Ubaidullah, then Ayyub al-Sakhtiyani, and sometimes the order will change. Ubaidullah died after the year 140. And Ubaidullah narrates from Nafi, who is Mawla of Abdullah ibn Umar. Nafi died in the year 117. So he's one of the top narrators of hadith of his master Abdullah ibn Umar. And from Abdullah means Abdullah ibn Umar. So when you see in hadith name of Nafi, and after that comes Abdullah, it means who? Abdullah ibn Umar. So you have to know really who narrates from who. Like if you see in a hadith Al-Qama and Aswad, and Abdullah comes, it will be Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. If you see in the hadith Ikrama, Mujahid, and Abdullah comes, it will be Abdullah ibn Abbas. So you have to know from the name. So people like Nafi, Abdullah, these people narrate from Abdullah ibn Umar. They don't narrate from other people. So he said the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam naha anish shigar, forbade shigar.
What's his exact lineage to Umar, Ubaidullah al-Umari?
To
The grandson or more?
So you see Ubaidullah ibn Umar, ibn Hafs, ibn Asim, ibn Abdullah ibn Umar. So it's a long generation. So basically Abdullah ibn Umar's son is Umar's son is Asim, and Asim's son is Hafs, and Hafs' son is Umar. Umar's son is Ubaidullah. So this long narration. But he's one of the most accurate person in the hadith of Nafi'. So Abdullah said the Prophet forbade shigar. So you see how quickly people forget the language. See, he says forbade shigar. Now the student of Nafi does not know what shigar means. There was somebody yesterday was asking that if the Prophet knew Alif Lam Mim, why very quickly people forget? People forget because something not used. Even shigar, which Arabs know, which even Nafi knows, Nafi is not Arab. He is a slave in Medina, but he knows. So Ubaidullah is from Quraysh. Ubaidullah is from Medina, from family of Abdullah, from family of Umar al-Khattab. He does not know what shigar means. Just see. He is an Arab, living in Medina, born in good family. He does not know what shigar means. And his teacher, Nafi, who is not even an Arab, he knows what shigar means. So he said, I asked my teacher, Nafi, mas shigaru. What is shigar? So Nafi says, yankiha. قال ينكح ابنة الرجل وينكحه ابنته بغير الصداق. Yes, Shigari, that somebody marries someone's daughter, and he said to him, I married your daughter, you marry my daughter, without any no dowry, nothing is there. Or somebody marries sister of someone and said, you marry my sister, without any mahr. So this what is Shigar. So tell me what is happening. It basically it is just a game, because if women's right is taken out, women deserve mahr, and by doing this thing, you make something else. So that's not the prophets have forbade that. So this hadith, now Bukhari is coming to criticize people of the heel and trick. وقال بعض الناس إن احتال حتى تزوج على الشغار فهو جائز والشرط باطل. If somebody does hila and does this nikah, shigar, so it is jaiz. The condition is batil. This condition that I marry to you, my daughter, but nikah is fine. So what basically Hanafi opinion is that if somebody marries his daughter to someone without mahr, and the condition that you marry your daughter to me. Is it clear? So the Prophet said not allowed. Hanafi people now say it is valid, but the condition is batil. Meaning is each one of them has to pay mahr. Now, tricky people, the people who play trick, they love this hadith. This old trick from Hanafi madhab. What they will say, now this person wants to marry, like, if I mention name, there is one person, his name is Zaid, and one is Khalid. Zaid wants to marry Khalid's daughter. Khalid is a poor person. He cannot marry any woman because he does not have money to pay in mahr. And Khalid is not interested to marry his daughter to Zaid. And Zaid loves her. So now he's playing trick. He said to Khalid, you marry your daughter to me, and then I'll marry my daughter to you. Khalid becomes excited because he knows he can't pay mahr. Now this is a good way. He can get married. When he gets married, they got married. Fuqaha will say this marriage is only allowed if you pay mahr. Zaid knows this thing. He said, okay, I'll pay mahr. Then he said to Khalid, you can't pay mahr. You can't marry my daughter. You see? So by trick, he got his daughter, and Khalid did not get anybody. Do you understand the problem? That's what people misuse. That Bukhari is saying that some people play trick. They use this thing. So Hanafi people say shigar is jaiz, shart is batil. Bukhari say if you say this, you allow people to make tricks. That's what will happen. Somebody wants to marry somebody's daughter and does not want him to marry his daughter. But he plays. He said, I marry your daughter, you marry my daughter. And when they marry, then Fuqaha will say marriage is fine, but mahr is obligatory. Zayd said, I'm a rich person anyway, I'll pay mahr. That he wanted to marry anyway. He had no problem with mahr. But then he said to Khalid, you can't marry my daughter because you can't pay mahr. So this how by trick he got his daughter. Do you understand the problem?
Advance, don't they talk about this?
Sorry?
Agree in advance?
No, because Khalid is a poor person. He just want to get married. He knows that he never can get married. Zaid, is a clever man. So he just make a trick. He said, I marry your daughter, you marry my daughter. He become excited. And then they married. Zaid knows really, mahr will be there. So he's ready, he pays mahr. So Fuqaha will say both marriage is fine, just they need to pay, mahr. Zaid is ready anyway, because he's a rich man, he wants to marry, he pays. Then Zaid said to Khalid, you can't pay mahr of my daughter because you are a poor person, you can't marry her. So he got his daughter, and without giving his daughter to him. So this is the trick. That's what Bukhari is criticizing. Bukhari says some people say if somebody makes a hila and he marries on shigar, this is jaiz. Prophet says shigar is not jaiz. And Hanafi people now come, they say shigar is jaiz. But what they say, but shart is batil. It means you have to pay mahr. وقال في المتعة النكاح فاسد والشرط باطل. And then Hanafi people also say about Mota. Mota is very similar to in Mota, even you don't have really nikah, a witness. People say I'm marrying, they said to a woman, I marry for you, with you for one night. And I'll pay you 20 pounds, $20, just one night. That's Mota. So Hanafi people say Mota is fasid. and this shart is batil, meaning it can be corrected. You make it a proper marriage and no time, it will be forever. Because nikah always must be forever. You cannot put timing in the nikah. Nikah means forever. So this is batil. وقال بعضهم, some Hanafi people say, المتعة والشعار جائز, muta and shigar both are jaiz, shart is batil. So the muta thing Bukhari is going to bring again anyway. This is going to criticize. So this summary of the matter. So meaning basically is in the matter of the furuj, means marriage, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Quran has made things very, very clear. If people start playing tricks in the marriage, they will open the door for the zina. Zina will get a new name, a good name, look nicer. So people can, that's why Bukhari wants to shut down the door completely, does not allow. When Hanafi people and other people, they come and they make all these tricks, then it becomes like zina. Then basically you befool people, you cheat people, you make all tricks. That's how the shigar has been misused in the history by many, many people. I was recently in Makkah doing Umrah to one of the men of the Hadith. He said to me that when his grandmother got married, there was shigar. So his grandfather married her in order to marry his own sister or daughter to that person. So they agreed and they got married. Shigar. So shigar is forbidden, but it goes on in the society. So either a Hanafi influence, it is allowed, but you have to pay mahr, or without Hanafi influence, but anyway, people do still shigar. So shigar is never, never allowed because it basically, deprives the women of their right. And it also gives chance to a man to play a game. Now next hadith in the same chapter of Nikah from Bukhari. وبه قال حدثنا مسدد قال حدثنا يحيى عن عبيد الله بن عمر قال حدثنا الزهري عن الحسن وعبد الله بن محمد بن علي عن أبيهما قال أن علي رضي الله عنه قيل له إن ابن عباس لا يرى بمتعة النساء بأسا فقال إن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم نهى عنها يوم خيبر وعن لحوم الحمر الإنسية. وقال بعض الناس إن احتال حتى تمتع فالنكاح فاسد. وقال بعضهم النكاح جائز والشرط باطل. So this is actually another big problem really in the marriage. That if people start something like muta, then what is zina? If zina is allowed. So what is muta really? Muta basically is a marriage happen among some Arab tribes. Some Arab people used to do muta. Muta means temporary enjoyment. People want to spend some time happily. Muta is enjoyment. Muta could be sometime anything. The whole life. This Quran calls the whole life of this world as mata. It is just temporary enjoyment. So muta means enjoyment for a short period. Arab people, when they used to travel, what they used to do, they will get a girl who they like, and they will say to her, I'm going to give you a shirt, a cloth, or something, somebody poor is some money, 10 dirham, 5, 2, and you accompany me for 2-3 days in this when I'm staying here, and when I leave, I leave. So many, many girls out of poverty, or maybe many slave girls. Actually, some people had business. So some rich people, they have their own slave girls, and they will ask slave girls to do muta, and whatever they earn, money comes to the master. So muta was very widely known in the society. Quran actually never allowed muta. So this is a misunderstanding in many Islamic circles that muta in Islam was allowed, then the Prophet forbade. He made haram. The truth really is muta never has been allowed. And it is very clear in the Quran. Look any verse of the Quran, like if you read Surah Al-Mu'minun, it is from Meccan period. In Surah Al-Mu'minun, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, that who are believers who are successful. Allah said, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Then it goes on, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ. The believers successful are those who protect their private part. Illa ala azwajihim, except for their wives, aw ma malakat aymanuhum, or slave girls. And then Quran says, "Famani bataga wara adhalika faulaika humul adun." Anybody who seeks beyond that, they are the one who exceeds the limit. Quran never allowed mut'a. Where the misunderstanding comes, misunderstanding comes from certain narrations. The Prophet ﷺ never did mut'a. Abu Bakr Siddiq never did mut'a. Like, no, we say drinking wine was allowed. Then it has been forbidden. That's fine because the companions used to drink and the Prophet did not forbid them. Hamza drank. So many companions they used to drink. Anas said they used to serve wine to the people. Never. Quran said when you drunk, don't come to the drinking. Then after a while, drinking was forbidden. The people who say muta was halal, then it became haram. They have to prove really the Sahaba then used to do muta, but the Prophet never did muta. Abu Bakr never did muta. Umar never did muta. Just let me complete, then you can. Uthman never did muta. All the people never did muta. What happens is when the Prophet ﷺ conquered Khaybar, he found out some people are doing muta. So he forbade. Because he forbade, to other people thought before that was allowed. They assume it was allowed, then he forbade. He never allowed, he only forbade. Then the Prophet ﷺ conquered Makkah al-Mukarramah and he found still some people doing mut'a. So then he repeated it and forbade again. So now some people think he forbade in Khaybar, then he allowed again, then he made again haram, or he never allowed really. Every time we know the report is only he forbids. The truth really is mut'a and zina have no difference at all. It is just zina. Mota is zina. And the Prophet ﷺ never allowed mota. He only forbade mota. He forbade in Khaybar and he forbade in Makkah al-Mukarramah. You have question? Yeah.
That it was abrogated after.
So in the Quran, when you look anywhere, فما استمتعتم به منهن فآتوهن أجورهن. Meaning it, when you marry women and you have done relation, then pay full mahr. So that's the rule. If somebody marries a woman, so when the full mahr becomes obligatory. So if somebody marries a woman and divorces her, then they pay half of the mahr. But once a relation has happened, then the full mahr must be paid. So in the Quran, there's no single narration anywhere in the world that it said muta is allowed. Actually, it's all haram zina. From hadith, people take it out. But the hadith, as I mentioned, there's misunderstanding. Hadith only said the Prophet forbade muta in Khaybar and he forbade muta on the conquest of Makkah. From that, people think it implies that it was halal before that. It was halal. So anyway, so this matter I have discussed in very detail in my commentary on Sahih Muslim with all the arguments, with all the hadith differences, that mut'a never has been halal in this religion. It all mut'a and zina have no difference at all. It is just a name. People, it's a new name for zina. Mut'a is basically zina. There's no difference between mut'a and zina. Then because marriage means to have family. Mut'a never means a family. Mut'a just means really passing by place and you get a woman for one night and then pass on. It's like that what zina, people of zina do. That what zina means. That enjoyment. This enjoyment is called new name mut'a, but still it is still zina. So anyway, so this is what here is happening. Problem is somehow Abdullah ibn Abbas, the great companion, he misunderstood this thing. He's a young companion. He does not know so much. He learned from many people. So something could be possible he did not learn until he became older. So other companions taught him and alerted him, like Ali radiallahu. Ali radiallahu actually sometimes used very harsh word against Abdullah ibn Abbas, that how did you know, did not know this thing? It is such a clear thing. So, and also we said to the Shia people, that if Muta was allowed, then why Ali will be so angry against Muta? Then we ask Shia people, tell me, if Muta is allowed, then why there's nobody from your Imams? Ali, Hassan, Hussein, then after that Ali Zain al-Abidin, then his son Muhammad al-Baqir, then his son Jafar al-Sadiq, then Jawad, all 12 Imams, none of them ever did Muta. Even Shia people accept. So if Muta is allowed and the deen of your religion, why they did not do? If Muta is like normal thing in your religion, why they didn't do Muta? None of them, even Shia report. Shia have no single report that Ali or Hassan or Hussein or their descendants until 12 Imam, anybody did Muta. And one of the Shia Imam has written a book, translated the book into Urdu language, that was not published. Or maybe the name comes to my mind. It is one of the famous books. He wrote a book on all the issues which have between Sunnis and Shia. In that one, he said, if you go to Iran and you ask any Mujtahid Imam that I want to do Muta with your daughter, he will kill you. He will not accept. They do Muta to your daughters, but not they don't allow your daughter. It's insult to them. He said, if it is halal, like marry, you can ask anybody to marry your daughter, their daughter. Why they don't like Muta with their own daughter? Because they know it is haram. They know it is zina. None of and he's a Shia. He's a Shia Imam. His name will come to my mind soon. I translate the book. He said, if you go to Iran and ask any Mujtahid, any of the Irani faqih, I want to do Muta to your daughter, he will kill you. He will never accept. Muta basically has no. Then what zina is? Muta simply means somebody comes to a woman and said, take $10, 15, actually 10, even one cloak. There was the hadith, one cloak, one reda, one piece of cloth, and stay with me 1 night, 2 nights, 3 nights. And she accept, they do. But that's what Zena people do. They also do something. They feed the women, they give something, good friendship, a girlfriend or boy, what people say, that's what it is. So what difference between Muta and Zena? Just a name. Muta and Zena, in reality, that was I was saying on the first day, that you cannot change reality by changing the name. You give Zena name of Muta, still Zena is Zena. Muta does not change the name. And when Quran says, فَمَنِ ابْتَغَى وَرَاءَ ذَلِكَ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْعَادُونَ, in a surah, which is Meccan surah, it is very clear Allah does not allow Muta. Because it is very, very clear. Otherwise, why Quran says, فَمَنِ ابْتَغَى? Why Quran will contradict itself? So Muta never has been allowed. And if it had been allowed, then tell me why the Prophet did not do Muta. It's something halal, why he will not do? Prophet has so many wives anyway, so he could have one by Muta. Why Abu Bakr never did Muta? Abu Bakr has so many wives. Why Umar did not do Muta? He had so many wives. Why Uthman did not do Muta? Why Ali did not do Muta? All these people, why they need Muta? If Muta is allowed. It makes very clear it's not allowed. No single senior companions ever did Muta from Muhajir Ansar. Muta is always done by the outcomers. Out Arabs, those who don't know this thing. So they come to Khaybar and they suddenly do Muta. So the Prophet find out, he forbids. Then suddenly he finds that in Makkah some people have done Muta. Again he reminds them, forbids. Muta is never done by Muhajirin and Ansar. It's all done by the people who are outside. Truth really is, Muta and Zina have no single difference. Both are the same thing. Just a new name, good name, people love it. And now Shia people have made a whole religion on the Muta. So the hadith is from Musaddad. We mentioned him before, Musaddad ibn Sarhad, and his date is 228. He died, and he narrates from Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Qattan. He also had come before, died in there 198. He narrates from Ubaidullah ibn Umar al-Umari, and I mentioned that he died after 140. Here Ubaidullah Umar narrates from Zuhri. Ubaidullah Umar, no doubt, is a great narrator, very reliable person, but he really is the most important narrator for the hadith of Nafi', and also when it comes to hadith of Qasim ibn Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr, one of the 7 Fuqaha Medina. Ubaidullah al-Umari is the best narrator for the hadith of Qasim. People say, Yahya Ma'in used to say, Ubaidullah al-Qasim and Aisha mushabbakatun bil-dhahab. It is a golden chain of narration. It is such a accurate narration. To Ubaidullah from Qasim from Aisha. In hadith of Aisha, this is the most important chain of narration. Ubaidullah al-Umari from Qasim ibn Muhammad ibn Abi Bakr from Aisha Ummul Mu'minin radiyallahu ta'ala anha. Hadith of Zuhri, Ubaidullah Umar is reliable, but he's not so close to Zuhri because Zuhri is not a senior teacher for him. He's still, but because Ubaidullah Umar himself is senior. So he narrated from Zuhri. Zuhri is Muhammad ibn Muslim ibn Shihab al-Zuhri, the Imam, A'lamut Tabi'in, died in the year 124. Zuhri narrates from two people from the family of Ali. That actually is good is not the Bukhari. If Muta had been allowed, it should be known to these people. They are the family of the Prophet. You people believe in them. You call them Imam. They are the one who say it is haram. When Sunni people say Muta is haram, they rely on the reports narrated by your Imams. They are the ones who say it is haram. So now you say Hassan. Hassan is Hassan ibn Muhammad ibn Ali. To Ali ibn Abi Talib anhu, he married to Fatima, daughter of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. From Fatima, he has got sons, especially Hassan and Hussein and some others. Then Fatima radiallahu anha died, and Ali got married with other women. One of them is a woman from Hanafi tribe, al-Hanafi. She is called al-Hanafiya. From Hanafiya, he's got a son, Muhammad. He's Muhammad ibn Ali. But some people call him Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiya. They relate him to his mother. Muhammad is one of the Imam, no doubt, learned person, brave person, strong person. Shia used to call him Mahdi. In the beginning, Shia used to call, Shia always have been confused about Mahdi. All the time Mahdi keeps coming. So one of their Mahdi has been very early, Muhammad ibn Hanafiya, Muhammad ibn Ali. This Muhammad is a learned person. He's also a narrator of Sunni people. His hadith are in we also accept him. Muhammad has got two sons, Hassan and Abdullah. This hadith Zuhri narrates from both sons of Muhammad. One is Hassan and one is Abdullah. So Hassan is Hassan ibn Muhammad ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib. Hassan died in the year 100 of Hijrah. And his brother is Abdullah. Abdullah is also Abdullah ibn Muhammad ibn Ali. Abdullah died in the year 99. Very close to each other. Both of them narrate this hadith from their own father, Muhammad ibn Hanafiya, Muhammad ibn Ali. Muhammad ibn Ali, we don't know exact date, but people say he died after the year 80 of Hijrah, 80, that he died. But we don't know exact date. He narrates from his own father Ali. So you see, it's all Shia people. I mean, it is Sunni people, but Shia people call them Imam and all those things. It all of them. Ali radiallahu anhu, people said to him that your cousin Abdullah ibn Abbas does not see any harm in mut'atul nisa. He does not feel any harm. You know, this is so late. This confusion remained even after the death of the Prophet ﷺ in the time of Ali. The people said to Ali, your cousin Abdullah ibn Abbas does not consider any harm in mut'atul nisa. The problem really is some confusion happened in Islam because of the name. Muta is a name used for other things as well. One of the muta is in the Hajj, mut'atul Hajj. So in the Hajj, there are three types of the Hajj. One Hajj is you go from here, from America, with the intention to do Hajj. So you make a haram until you finish your Hajj. That is called Hajjul Ifrad. Hajjul Ifrad means you only have gone to do Hajj, nothing else. Then after that, if you want to do Umrah, you can do, but during your Hajj or before your Hajj, you don't do any Umrah. That's what? Hajjul Ifrad, until you take out your Ihram. Some people say this is the best Hajj, like Imam Shafi rahimahullah ta'ala. Then there is Hajjul Mut'a or Hajjul Tamattu. That is that you want to go for Hajj and you going for the time of the Hajj. But you have enough time to say, okay, let me do Umrah, and then after that I become halal, take off Ihram. When time for the Hajj come, I put on new Ihram and I do Hajj. That is called Hajjul Tamattu or Hajjul Mut'a, meaning is enjoyment. Because you did Ihram, you and went, did Umrah, and then you take off Ihram, now you enjoy. You can have relation with your wife, you can put on clothes, you can do whatever like really, until 8th or 9th Hijjah comes, then you put on new Ihram for the Hajj. So between Umrah and between Hajj, you enjoyed. You got freedom. That's what they call it, Mut'atul Hajj, or Hajjul Tamattu or Hajjul Mut'a. Third Hajj is what is called Hajjul Qiran. Hajjul Mut'a is preferred by Imam Malik. Imam Malik prefers Hajjul Mut'a, and he thinks this is the Hajj that Prophet has done. Then there is another Hajj that's called Hajjul Qiran. Hajjul Qiran is that when you go for the Hajj, so from the miqat, where you put on ihram, from that place you make intention of Hajj and Umrah both together, and you remain in the Haram until you finish the Hajj. The two things you're doing at the same time, it is more difficult. So that's called Hajjul Qiran. Qiran means to combine between two things. In Hanafi Madhab, Qiran is the best. So there are three types of Hajj. According to Imam Shafi'i, Ifrad is the best. According to Malik, Hajjul Tamattu or Muta is the best. And according to Hanafi people, Hajjul Qiran is the best. Though actually at the moment, everybody does Hajjul Muta, Tamattu. That's what everybody does. So Maliki people's Tamattu is better. Tamattu is the word which is used for Hajj and also used for marriage. This is Shia marriage. That kind of you sometimes you read in Hanafi sources, they say Muta is haram except according to Malik. Illa inda Malik. Malik never say Muta is halal. Malik is talking about other Muta, Muta to Hajj. Nothing to do with this Muta. This Muta, everybody says haram. Just word Muta creates confusion. So sometimes I feel really that the prophets are allowed Muta or something like that. That has been in other contexts, some people took it for Mutatul Nisa. Because word Muta is used for both of them. So maybe he meant Mutatul Hajj, and some people took it Mutatul Nisa. So this confusion remain even later period. Until in the textbook, in the fiqh, still their confusion is there. So anyway, so it was reported to Ali radiallahu anhu that Ibn Abbas does not see any harm in Mutatul Nisa. So Ali said, what is the fact? The fact is the Prophet forbade Mut'atun Nisa in Khaybar. That he reports. He does not say the Prophet allowed it. So he said the Prophet ﷺ forbade Mut'atun Nisa on the day of Khaybar. When he conquered Khaybar and he found some people doing Mut'a, he forbade. And he also forbade the meat of al-Humur al-Insiyya. Humur al-Insiyya is donkey. So he forbade that you can't eat the meat of donkey. So that's what the Prophet said. Now tricky people come, those who make trick everywhere. So he said, قال بعض الناس إن احتال حتى تمتع فالنكاح فاسد. If somebody does a hila, he just convinced the woman or something and did a hila, and so he said, I want to, because he knows that she's not going to marry forever. She only can marry for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. But his intention is, he knows Muta is haram. So he made hila. Okay, I marry. And then he will tell her, oh, you married me. Now time is gone. Now you are permanently my wife. So he want to play trick. So she does not want to marry him properly for some reason. And he knows that temporary marriage does not exist. But she does play trick. He said, okay, I'll marry you temporarily. When she accepts the marriage and he marry, then he said, there's no temporary marriage. Now you are my wife forever. He plays trick. So if somebody makes trick, so and that's muta, so nikah is fasid. Fasid in fiqh means still you can be corrected. If the conditions are fulfilled, you give the mahr properly, make witness, and you can, to remove the time, you can still correct it. وقال بعضهم, and some Hanafi people say, or some other people, النكاح جائز والشرط باطل. When you play trick and make muta, this is fine. But condition is wrong. Meaning it will not be temporary, it will be forever. But the problem really, the woman has been befooled. She doesn't know that by doing this, you're going to make her your wife forever. So sometimes people do this trick. One of the jurist faqih, a lady come to him. She said, marry me to someone. So he said, will you accept if I marry to you someone? She said, yes. You are my wakil, you married someone. He said, I married you to myself. And now she can't do anything because she's the one who appointed him as the wali. So he married, and now marriage is valid. And now there's nothing. She can't go to the court, nothing. She is his wife. So people always keep making trick in this matter. This is very, very bad matter. Truth really, the marriage must be done with proper consent, with proper clarity. It is a relation between two people, contact between two people. Everything must be very, very clear. All this tricky business, they harm the whole society, they harm the women, they harm everybody. So just because you love someone, you make all, but does she love you? No. So you make all those things because of your desire. So this all is not, the Bukhari is against this. But problem is, many jurists, many fuqaha, they keep allowing all these tricks, and it is still there. So that's why Bukhari is one of those people who are completely against this trick. And I recall to me really, Mota is just zina. So if somebody says I'm doing zina, how can it be allowed? So Mota never is allowed. All these marriages, misyar, Mota, whatever name you go, it all haram, it all zina. Any secret marriage, secrecy basically means zina. It never can be allowed. Marriage must be done with two clear things, function and responsibility. If both things are clearly known in the mind of the husband and wife, and they know really they're going to live a life where they're going to make family, and husband makes very clear he's going to provide accommodation, expenses, and more, then marriage will be marriage. If any of these things are hidden or there is trick around them, then it is never a marriage. It is just basically playing around. And worst hila is about the marriage. The worst hila, because you basically make somebody else suffering because of your desire. It's a worse hila. And Allah SWT never allowed any enjoyment without function responsibility. Never. That's why zina is such a severe sin in Islam. Why? Because it has no responsibility and no function. Zina has only enjoyment, no function. People who do zina, they never have intention to make family. People who do zina, they never have a responsibility to provide accommodation expenses. No, it is just simple enjoyment, trick. It is that why in Islam, zina is the worst sin. After shirk, there is no sin equal to zina. Worst sin that you can imagine after shirk is zina. It is never allowed in the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If people want to do it clearly, marriage, openly, be brave, be strong, earn money, and provide accommodation expenses properly. If you can't afford, then keep fasting. That the Prophet said, oh young people, among you, those who can afford the marriage, then do. But if you cannot afford the marriage, فَعَلَيْهِ بِالصِّيَامِ, then keep fasting, not one day, all your life, just in the fasting. There's no other way. Because you think, some men say, if I don't marry, I will fall in sin. So it is your problem. You fall in sin, why you want to punish somebody else? Why she has to take responsibility of your sin? It is your problem. If you're going to fall in sin, then be brave, go and earn money, and then do marriage properly. You come to a woman, oh, please marry me. If I don't marry, I'll fall in sin. So it is your problem. Nothing to do with her. So using all these words to a woman is very bad manner. Basically, the meaning is you just want to influence her mind so she can accept you. This is not right. People must be strong. If I can afford the marriage, go like a brave and noble person and offer the contract. If she accepts, then marry. If she doesn't accept, find someone else. But be brave and strong. Don't play with the words marriage. It's a very severe matter. It actually ruins the whole society and ruins the family life. So, if the people like Bukhari and anybody, they don't allow any game around the marriage. Now there are another things coming. باب ما يكره من الاحتيال في البيوع ولا يمنع فضل الماء ليمنع به فضل الكلاء. People cannot imagine. What you point for? Okay.
We can take a few questions, 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah, that's
and
good.
go for more.
Okay, that's fine. Check out that if you can open this.
Questions?
Question of Shigar.
Let's go.
So Shigar, you said it's a term that, generally speaking, anytime the woman's right is not being fulfilled, it's called Shigar.
No, that's more general type. Shigar is this type of the, not, it is one type. Basically, meaning is somebody married his daughter or his sister to someone on the condition that that person will marry his daughter or sister to him. And there's no mahr, no payment. This is what exchange is. This exchange of the woman for woman, that is shigar. That is forbidden by the Prophet clearly. Now Faqih comes, he says if somebody does shigar, marriage will be valid, but condition will be married, he has to pay mahr. When you do this, you open the door for tricks. That's what Bukhari's concern is. If the Prophet forbid, let it be forbidden. Because once you say it becomes valid and mahr has to be paid, then people play trick. That's what he does not like. Is it clear to everybody? So that trick around that, that's why it is not allowed.
So there's always an exchange of women. Shigar.
Yeah, that's what shigar is. Yeah, extend that to women. Women for women.
Can we extend that to other types of tricks? Like there's so many tricks I can.
Yeah, I mean, you can derive from that. So the Prophet ﷺ is mentioning the tricks, things what happening his time. And the Bukhari is talking about the tricks that happened up to his time. then from that you can derive other tricks as well. You can, meaning is marriage should not have any trick. People should marry with pure heart, not to exploit the women rather than benefit them. Exploitation of the women is a really great sin. All this misyar marriage is the exploitation of the women because they can't marry someone. There's a problem. So you just make all this. This thing is so bad, really. In England, one of my students, he said to me, he has got a preacher as a friend, and this preacher has got 3 wives. So I said to him, he got 3 wives. How can he afford? Where they do live? He said they live in their own houses. So I said, why doesn't he give them a house? He said, he has no house. He lives with me. So he lives in the house of this student, and he has got 3 wives. And all the one of them, so I said to him that how much he pays. He said he has no money, so he gives to one of them £1 a week or something like that. And these women are suffering. One of my students, she phoned me that she wants to get married. So I said, we're looking. Then she said to me that there's a imam, preacher, he wants to marry her. So I said, okay, marry, but make very clear, he has to provide accommodation, expense, everything properly. She said, no, he said, in the beginning, I'll marry you, you live in your house, and then later on, I'll provide accommodation expenses. But in the beginning, I want to keep it secret. So I said, don't believe in that. It's not right. She said, no, he's very pious person, and this person, that person. So I became tired because I don't have time. So she married him. And what happens is, she has to stay at her home, no expenses. Whenever he wants, he will hire somewhere a small room, and he will call her for one night, and then he will leave. So basically, I had no money, nothing, and now he's married. So she came to what to do. I said, that's what I said in the beginning. Don't do. The women don't understand, don't accept people's words. Marriage is social fact. It must be clear. Any marriage that men say, I'm going to do with secrecy, don't believe. I tell you another story. In Manchester, I got 2 students, men and women, both students. They fell in love and they wanted to marry. The girl came to me that, this is also a student, he wants to marry me. I said, okay, you can marry, but make very clear that he has to provide you accommodation and expenses. She come to me and she said, he's a very nice person. He said, just stay with me, with my family 1 year, so they become happy. Then I'm going to give you house. So I said, no, don't accept. But she, in love and all those things, she married. 1 year passed, no house, nothing. Then again, he became angry that, why you don't like my parent? What's the problem with that? But you made the promise. Then she became so upset. She said, okay, maybe I buy a house so he can move there. She bought her house. Actually, what happened one day I was teaching, she offered her house because she did not live there to be kind of stay, to be stayed in her house that she bought for her marriage. The thing is, the husband never accepted to move from his parents' house and divorce happened. So tell me who's suffering? The woman. Now, until now, it's nearly 10 years she's not married. This person married her, exploited her. She did everything for him, and he deceived her, cheated her. So that's why I always advise all the women. So a lady phoned me from France. She's a Moroccan lady. And she said to me, somebody in England from Manchester wants to marry her. And you are from England, you are my teacher, advise me. I said, fine, I don't know the person. But the simple matter, if you like somebody, marry, but properly, he should provide accommodation, expenses, and make your marriage registered in this country. It should not be just, by word. Then she phoned me, he's saying, do you don't trust me and this thing and that thing, why you want to register and this? I said, no, don't accept this. There's something wrong. If he loves you, why doesn't he register? He can't even do this small thing. And then he not marry her. As soon as she becomes serious, you must register, he not marry. Marriage is a very serious matter. It actually is a marriage, it's a matter of the life. It is family matter. Allah wants it to become pure and clean. Don't accept any deception, any wrong intention in the marriage. When wrong thing comes, hila comes, trick comes, it ruins the life of everybody. And most harm are the women. In the marriage, when marriage fails, the harm is more on the women compared to the men. That's why I say women should never accept anybody's word. And that way, contract does not mean that you don't trust. Contract actually is the solid ground for the trust. If somebody said, in American people are, very bad people, I don't like, they take away freedom, they made everywhere motorways. If there had been no motorway, I could drive my car anywhere with the freedom and this and that. You're wrong. Motorway help you for your freedom. So when Islam makes contract, the contract is helping for freedom. It makes your freedom much better. And you say, no, no, no contract, will live as we like. You will see, nothing will happen. You're going to lose. Contracts are helpful for the freedom. They are not actually harming the freedom, they help for the freedom. Yeah.
As the young people, many times like parents are willing to, encourage their kids to get married while they're in college, and then once, so that, they're safe from the fitna, and then once they graduate college, they can, their own. So basically what I'm asking is like if temporarily parents volunteer to support, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I never allow. Because thing is, your wife is your wife, not your parents' wife. Question is sometimes the students study in the universities, and the parent, to make it easier, they said, "Na, Umairi will help you provide." If your wife lives in the house of your parent at their mercy, she is like a slave to them. I'll tell you, that's what happened. They know really she is on their favor. They can command her anything, they can misuse her, mistreat her, all this is going on. The woman's freedom and dignity is law. Women, the only house that a woman can claim her house and can she live in dignity is house of the husband. Because when husband provides, it's not a favor. That house is actually legal right of the woman. When parent provide the house, that is favor. Or understand. When your parents say that, I'm going to give house to your wife, this is a favor. When you give your house to your wife, that is legal requirement. That her house, she has no favor at all. It is really full independence, full dignity. Women's claim to the property and to the house and money of their husband is a legal dignified claim within the boundary. It is not a favor. Whatever husband spend on the woman, that is proper legal right of the woman in Islam and everywhere. It is not a favor. Anybody else, it is favor. And when a favor comes, it makes people inferior. Don't accept this. And I've seen in my life so many cases all the time that parents misuse. Your parents are your parents. They are not her parents. So you think, oh, my mother is so nice. Your mother, I the mother in nice, but I the mother-in-law, she's not nice. You don't know that. Other people know, yeah. Because your mother has many role. She is nice because she's your mother, but she's not a mother of your wife. For your wife, she's just a mother-in-law, not a mother. That, and you will not know. In the beginning, your wife will hide. She will not create a problem. But when the problem becomes big, you cannot solve it. Yeah, and you know, when Benazir Bhutto, she got married, so she had a problem with her mother-in-law. So Urdu young people, they put very nice head. Actually, not Indian Times. They put very nice story, and the heading was very nice. The war of uh, the mother of all wars and war of all the mother-in-laws. The mother of all, this war is mother of all the wars, and it is war of all the mothers. All mother-in-law has same war, same conflict. A woman can be the most pious person on the face of the earth, but she is not a mother of your wife. And she will be right, because when people live together, they can see the fault. Your wife has some mistake, you forgive because she's your wife. But your mother, she will not. Same your mother. For example, I tell you about your mother. Your mother, if in the house your sister is sleeping 10 until 10 o'clock, does not do any work, your mother will be happy. She says, oh, your sister, no, she's not feeling it. Respect her. If your wife gets up late, you will see the story. It will be shared with all the people in the house, around house. Same woman. For her daughter, different, and for your wife, different. And now you want to bring your wife to her. So I'm not blaming your mother. I'm saying mothers are mothers, but when they become mother-in-law, they're different. Not the same thing. Yeah. नहीं, मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि आप तो एक्सेप्शन हैं, चलिए, लेकिन दुनिया जो है इस पर नहीं चल रही है. दुनिया में जो मसाइल है ना, बिल्कुल दूसरे. मैं देखता रहता हूँ ना, मैं रोज ही देख रहा हूँ ना, रोज यहीं आता रहता है. ये मसले खतरनाक है, इसमें कभी भी समझौता. डोंट कंप्रोमाइज इट, नेवर नेवर. बी क्लियर फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग. Yeah, they ask them to fast. Ask them to fast. Yeah, no, ask them to fast. Because of your desire, you cannot wrong somebody. You cannot wrong someone because of your desire. You fast. It is your problem. Why you want to make a woman to suffer because of you? This is your problem. You must fast.
All right, let's break from.
Yeah, but because people used to accept injustice. Now people know it is injustice. People used to accept, and they, if you ask women, they say life was not so easy, but they accepted. But now people have more choices. They cannot accept. So be fair. Be fair from the very beginning. Tell me.
Okay, we'll break for Maghrib, 15-minute break, inshallah. We'll come back.